I am going to tell you something that I tell all of my friends that this happens to. That was a visitor that came to visit you and tell you that if you get on the right path, your gift will come. And I was like,
oh, wow.
Lightning bolt.
My
Moment hit me.
goodness.
That moment changed my life.
You said at school you thought you were dyslexic, you struggled with reading. What was the inner story that you changed in order to start writing?
I never had the belief that I could ever write. I'm slightly dyslexic in school. I wouldn't be able to read out loud in class. And I remember going to my English teacher and saying before class, and I said, please don't ask me to read in class. I just can't.
Shame, yeah.
And he did straight away. I just got up and walked out of class. There started the rebel Karen era. I think something happens whenever you have a child. There's this love that just goes straight, and it's such a creative source. Whilst I was breastfeeding my daughter, I typed out a novel with missing keys on my keyboard in 30 days called The Visitor. That was my first kind of fictional novel that I ever wrote. You go inside for the answers, outside for the support to make it happen. You don't have to do everything yourself. The answers are inside. Don't give that power to anything outside of you. Don't think too far ahead. You're going to be overwhelmed. Don't look behind you. You're going to be depressed. So stay in the present and focus on where am I being navigated to next. Know what it is that you want. So we had our first $1 million year, and that was amazing. But then life happened, Tracy. My daughter got sick, really sick. She nearly died 3 times on me. So as a mother, you pause, you stop. I nearly lost it all.
I think there's probably been like 3 times. I'm like, right, I'm going to go get a job. I've had enough. I'm done. And the moment is like, what are you going to do? And I'm like, I don't know, I'll figure it out. And he's like, I think you made yourself unemployable.
It's either love or fear. So you're choosing every time what you're energizing in your life and what you're illuminating in your life.
I know we've all got a story, but what would be that first step they can take to actually put that into action?
Your first draft is a messy first draft. You are your own reader. You're the only person that can share your stories and your experiences. There's 3 things that I always say that each chapter should have.
This is Real Biz, Real Life. The Real Biz Life Chronicles, hosted by Tracy Fryer.
What if the most brilliant business owners have been hiding in the shadows, and it's time to bring them into the light? Welcome to the Real Biz Life Chronicles. I'm your host, Tracy Fryer, and this is your Grinding Zone, where I sit down with real business owners just like you. We share the wins, the wreckage, and everything in between. Raw, honest, unscripted. Get ready to banish boring. Let's go. Before we dive into the episode, I need to ask a favor. If you are enjoying the show, if anything has resonated, or even if you've attempted to say yeah, like I often do, we ask that you please like and subscribe to our channels. You're not just supporting the show, but you're helping us build an incredible community of business owners who get it, who get each other, and who keep going no matter what. Share it with someone in your world today so they know they're not alone. Thank you. What if your story, the one you've been too scared to tell, is the one the world needs most? My guest today has spent her entire life proving exactly that. I met this beautiful woman in November last year on the set of High Heel Talk with Barbara McNaught. We gelled instantly. Her warmth is the kind that stops you in your tracks. The kind that makes you feel like you've met someone before, like your souls have already met. She is a visionary, author, a publisher, a TEDx speaker, and a life philosopher. She has authored over 40 books, built a publishing empire from the ground up, and founded the Heroes Raw book and Docufilm experience, a platform that gives people the tools and the courage to share their stories with the world. She once said, the world doesn't need more martyrs running on fumes. It needs women operating on full power, fully alive, fully resourced. That's when true transformation happens. Every year, she hosts an immersive retreat in an Irish castle because she believes that when you create the right space, stories change lives. They shift perspectives and heal communities. She holds an honorary doctorate in philosophy and is a certified Phase 2 coach with the Napoleon Hill Institute, and she is a proud mother of 6, which I'm absolutely amazed by. But here's what you won't find in her bio. She quietly creates opportunities for others. She champions people in her industry, even her direct competitors. And she regularly sponsors authors who could never afford her retreats without anyone ever knowing. Her life philosophy is simple. When mindfulness, intention, love, gratitude, forgiveness, and belief converge at the right time, true magic happens. And this incredible lady has driven an hour and a half to be on the show, and I am so grateful. Please welcome Dr. Karen Weaver.
Blush. Thank you. That's lovely. It's always really humbling to hear about yourself from other people. So thank you for that.
Most welcome, Karen. I know from the moment that I met you that I had to have you on the show. You've got beautiful energy. You're an incredible woman. And I just feel I'm so stoked to have you on the show today. So
I'm so glad to be here. So thank you.
Now, I don't know about you, but I find the best conversations are always had over a great cup of coffee. And so the coffee for each episode of the Real Biz Life Chronicles is sponsored by no other than the legends at Cuppa Cartel. They're fueling great conversations, one cuppa at a time. They offer a full corporate cuppa experience and personalized valet service for you and your crew at the office. For more information, head to the link in the show notes below. Karen, you've dedicated your life to the power of story. I'd love to know, where did that begin for you, and what was the moment you knew story was your calling?
Okay, well, it wasn't my entire life, Tracy. It was a journey to get here, and it happened when I came to Western Australia, actually. So I always had this desire to tell stories and wanted to do journalism. I'd actually dipped into law as well.
Oh, as well, yeah.
At the beginning, and then I was like, yeah, this isn't for me. But then I started to explore journalism. I started to do a course with the Writers' Bureau in the UK, and in those days, it was an actual physical course that came in a box, and you had to write down your on lined paper your assignments and ship them, post them to the UK, and then your tutor would send you back feedback and your marks and things in the post. So that was back. Dylan was about 4 at the time, so he's about to turn 30, so 26 years ago.
Wow, okay, yes.
So, but I never had the belief that I could ever write. I think I'm slightly dyslexic, to be honest. In school, I wouldn't be able to read out loud in class. Somebody said to me, if Mr. Jones, our English teacher, knew you were writing books, it would be such a shock to him. I would not read out loud in class. There you go, Mr. Jones, honestly. So it's interesting that I found my way to writing. There's no writers in my family. I was the first one to go to a convent. I went to a grammar school in my teens. I passed the 11 plus and got there, and my parents were so proud. So I went there, even though I did rebel a little bit. I was curious and found myself.
As we all do.
I was very blessed to have the foundation that, I could go and get curious, and I had somewhere to fall back. And I grew up in a loving home, the eldest of 6. Okay. So whenever I chose to emigrate to Australia, 35 weeks pregnant with my 3rd child.
Oh, wow.
We knew nobody. We had 2 nights booked in the Great Eastern Highway in a motel. And
so you were
2 boys.
35 weeks pregnant when you immigrated?
I had to get a letter the day before I got on the plane to say I was allowed to fly, and I had to walk up and down the airplane every hour to keep my circulation, so I didn't get clots and stuff. So anyway, that was interesting. We didn't even know the healthcare system or anything. It's to the outside world, it looked totally irrational, because we just built a brand new house, locked the door on it and left. But for me, I knew it was exactly the right next step. And when you get to know my journey and how I got through PTSD and all of that stuff, then you understand why I just was like, I don't care what anybody thinks.
Yeah, good.
I'm going to go and live this life. I'm going to get what I can out of it. I'm going to help people and inspire people. So all of these wisdoms came to me whenever I woke up out of PTSD. So when I came to Australia, I started to write, and I was like, but I think something happens whenever you have a child. There's this love that just...
I've heard so.
It just gushes through, and it's such a creative source.
Yeah.
And whilst I was breastfeeding my daughter, this is actually my 4th child. Whenever I was breastfeeding her, I typed out a novel with missing keys on my keyboard.
Oh my goodness.
In 30 days, called The Visitor.
Wow.
That was my first kind of fictional novel that I ever wrote. The rest were children's books before that. And it was such an amazing process for me, and I was like, how did I do that? Did I write this? So what I did was I shared it with my sister, who is the other side of the world, who I miss terribly, who is Emma, and we are only a year and a half apart, but we're so close and yet so. But we still tap into each other's energy. She knows when I need her, and I know when she needs me. So it's the two of us have Weaver birds together, so we love it. But she read the book and she was like, "You didn't write this."
Yeah.
And I was like, "I did. Is it any good?"
Yes.
And she was like, "Oh my God, it's amazing." Because I wove my story in as one of the characters in the book and stuff. So I went on to write 2 more books in that series. And then I started to see how stories can connect and heal, ignite things within others. And then someone asked, I went through a negative publishing experience, but it was actually a positive because I learned a lot about publishing.
Yeah.
And it led me on to my own path of helping others share their stories. So that's how it started.
Incredible. And I've heard, when a lady does have a baby, there's just this creativity. I had the lovely Nirma Tulek on, and she had the exact same thing happen. She's a dentist. Yeah. She's my amazing dentist. And she started beam theory. And that was when she was pregnant. She said she had all these ideas flowing, and I think she's just about to launch it now as well. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. And it's such a thing that's connected to that child that you are birthing at the time as well. And like a mother's love, like I've always been a mum, I think, because I was the eldest of 6. I would help out with my younger brother, so I was always, that. And then I was a mum at 19.
Yeah,
so,
right.
So always been a mum. So it's just this beautiful thing that I get to embrace, and so it was whenever I really noticed it when I had Kira here, who's my 3rd child. Whenever that love came, that flush of love, I was just such creative, and I poured it into creativity, and it's just a beautiful way to navigate that energy, because it doesn't matter how many kids you have, you think, how can I love them all? But it's amazing. I talk about Louise Hay in this kind of, because she talks about the infinite well of love, and you don't have to be a mother to access the infinite well of love. It's there. The more you take out of it, the more it grows. It never runs dry. So we need people taking out of that. So yeah, it's beautiful.
I'd love to know, so you said at school, you thought you were dyslexic, you struggled with reading. What was the inner, I guess, story that you changed in order to start writing? Because, I mean, if, that would be like me trying to do like hectic maths equations. I was never great at math, standard grade all the way. But I'd love to know, because that's almost like you went completely against what you sort of believed about yourself. Yeah. So
that was it, absolutely. Like, it was because I used to get so embarrassed, my head would go so red, Tracy, like as if
when you had
I would
read.
pulsate. Yes, it was just like,
I've been that nervous before, yeah.
Oh my God. And so the words used to jump around on the page, and I couldn't. And I remember going to my English teacher and saying before class, and I said, "Please don't ask me to read in class. I just can't."
Shame, yeah.
And he did straight away. He asked me to do it straight
as
away.
they would.
And I just got up and walked out of class. There started the rebel Karen era. I didn't look back.
Yeah.
So that was just part of my journey, I suppose. And then I did go back into adult education whenever Dylan was 5. And
so you had one child.
Yeah,
and you went back?
I was a single mom.
Yeah.
And I had 3 jobs. And I went back to 3 part-time jobs to keep, because we had our own house and things like that. And but I really wanted to learn. So I went and done an access course, and part of that was English literature and history. And then I studied humanities. So I have a diploma in humanities, not in publishing. So that's why I'm all about the power of story and how and the whole journey and the process of even an author, whenever they start the journey, it's such a transformational process.
It is. And I love how you and I are aligned in this, like with the podcast, just, creating a space where someone can share their story. It's been one of the most rewarding things, but just seeing that person light up, and someone who maybe a year ago was like, hell no, Tracy, I'm not coming to your podcast, but then they embrace it, and then it gets their brilliance out into the world, and it's their story that they've created. And at the end of the day, with AI and all this generic stuff that we've seen, that is such a point of difference for you. It's your story and the way you've, come about into business or whatever it is that you're doing. So It's so powerful.
Absolutely. It's so powerful, and that's how people show up authentic. And the more that you will do a podcast, the easier it gets.
Absolutely.
But no two podcasts will be the same, because the questions you
No.
ask, how you make someone feel, and what they will reply to you.
Yeah, their answers changes the entire podcast.
Yeah, it's
So
beautiful. And it's all storytelling. You know, what I do, what you do, it's all storytelling. So then we're happy people connect and feel connected and heard, and maybe not even alone. you know?
yeah, and especially in terms of a brand, it's so important to have that aspect. On the note of being a mother of 6, you've built a publishing empire as well. Most people can barely do one of those things. How do you hold it all together?
I don't. And I don't mean to be blasé about that.
No, please.
I've had lots of failures along the way of building my publishing empire. We've done so well. I set the intention to build $1 million press. I did that in 7 years rather than 25 that I thought I would do.
Wow, so in 7 years?
7 years. So we had our first $1 million year, and that was amazing.
Congrats.
But then life happened, Tracy.
Yeah.
My daughter got sick, really sick. She nearly died 3 times on me. So as a mother, you pause, you stop. I nearly
As you have
lost it
to.
all.
Yeah.
And but I still was very committed to my authors and would show up as much as I could in that space. But I have to admit that that was a really tough time. So last year and this year are my comeback years.
Yes,
you know?
amen to that.
And you know what happened that really I didn't expect to happen, and that really touched my heart, was last year when we were in New York doing the New York trip. We were at the Stevie Awards, and I was telling you about the Heroes Roar Award for the community, but I won silver in most resilient business owner, a businesswoman. And that just touched my heart, and I had to go up and do a speech on it.
Oh, wow.
And I've got the speech, I must find it.
Yes.
And I didn't expect to win anything in it, and I got it, and I was like, I nearly lost everything, and because my daughter needed me, and I showed up. I did what because I would never have, it's a priority for me. It's,
of course.
My kids are my
first.
life. And then, but that's all part of the story. You know what I mean? So, and then to be able to come back and just say, okay, let's do this, it shows how much this is important in my life, stories.
And Karen, you say that you were surprised when you got that award. Like for me, after reading your bio and getting to know you, like for me, it's no brainer. I'm not surprised.
I know everybody's like, Karen, like what?
Yes.
I know, but it's because you go on the journey, and I feel very much a duty of care. I feel, and I suppose I feel like I let people down, and I don't fit very well in that space. So whenever you do that, you just go, right, let's make everything good again and all of this stuff. So, but I also know the good that I do in the world and the opportunities I create for people. And
so many, by the way, for our listeners.
But these are the things that I create them because I want to experience them myself. And I'm like, if I'm doing it, come along for the ride, enjoy it. Because these are legacy things, Tracy. These are memories. These are things that we can tell our grandchildren. Oh my God, look, Granny or Granddad did that, so it's all legacy work. And in a world where there's so many negatives, I want to bring positives and positive experiences, because that ripples out from one person to all of the people around them. But also that those people shining bright online, or being on one of my stages, or hanging out in the castle and meeting amazing people, or just showing up and sharing their story, or living the dream of their book, going out into the world. They're on that journey and they're showing people, and that is inspirational and that ripples out. So if I can facilitate that, that's really special.
And where does that resilience come from? Have you always been that way?
I don't know. I'm laughing because I had to write an 8,000 word piece on strength for Dr. Julie Descharm from Lead and Empower Her She Talks, and she's doing an anthology. So she said, will you write me 8,000 words? And I was like, 8,000 words? I only ask people to write 2.5. So I was finishing it. I'm reading it through this morning before I sent it to her. And I was like, I went back to my childhood. So I grew up in Ireland, south of Ireland, just on the border between north and south. And we were in the Irish education system, all of this. And you prayed a lot and all of the stuff in school. And then we moved across the border, 1 mile out the road. we call it out the road.
Yeah.
But it was into the north of Ireland, whole different
Quite
education
different,
system.
yeah.
But my dad, we were living in the park in a 2-bedroom house before that, and dad's dream was to build a house on a hill for his family. Plus, he also had 3 girls, and he was thinking, when these girls are teenagers, I'd rather them in the countryside than in the town.
Yeah.
So, and I can understand now having 4 girls myself.
Yes.
So I watched him manifest this, and like that's how I learned manifestation. I've only just realized it, how, because he bought the field. I remember going with them to pick the field. Couldn't afford the whole field, so they got the biggest top half, the highest bit. And then Mum was pregnant, so Dad had to do and manage a lot of the bricklay, step by step to get this house built before this other child was coming. And the
It's
fifth
kind of
child.
like a similar pattern with you guys immigrating at 35. Yeah,
yes.
right.
I'm
Like
only after
history-
triggering on that.
History repeating itself.
It was like, there's a deadline, a baby coming.
Yeah.
I remember we moved into the house the day that my brother was born.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so Dad worked really hard to get us into the house for Mum to come home into the
goodness.
house rather than into the mobile home we were living in.
Yeah.
But that was all experiences and resilience. But also we went to, so we were now going to school in the north, so we took the school bus to school. And we had to go through army checkpoints. So you were going through army checkpoints. There was army coming on with guns on the bus and checking and like a bus full of school kids. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it was that for years.
Yeah, it was a while, wasn't it?
For years and years. And even up into high school, I went to that convent grammar school and it was bomb scares all the time. So you were always resilient and didn't allow it to sink you, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do.
You could be on guard and ready to, protect or whatever.
Yeah.
But you didn't allow it to affect your happiness, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
you
I
still had to
do.
live life. So.
Being South African, yes.
Yeah,
you kind of live
exactly.
on this edge state where you never quite know what the day is going to hold,
you
but
have
you
to
still
prepare.
somehow are able to live life like normally, but knowing that at any time stuff can change where you need to like be on the ball. So,
Yes. Yeah. And your life depends on
Yeah.
it. So it is that. And so then I just went with that. So yeah. And I think that gave me a foundation for life that has allowed me to, and I'm curious and adventurous and I prioritize joy so much.
Good.
I want to have fun. If it's not fun, I ain't doing it.
Good. And when you say you prioritize joy, is it kind of, if someone asks you to do something, that's kind of your compass?
No, well, I will always, right now, because I get asked to do a lot of things, I go, is this aligned with where I'm going? Am I going to serve myself and others through that? And if it's a I don't know or no, I have to say no because my heart won't be in it.
Yes, I'm the same.
And if your heart's not in it, you're not going to do the best job for everybody. So you're better off saying no with love and letting someone else whose heart would be in that opportunity say yes to
because your
it.
energy is different otherwise.
Yeah, exactly. And then you're doing a disservice to them as well as yourself. So, but anything that's aligned with where you're going or if it's going to be fun, then I'm like, hell yes, why not?
I used to be one of those people that said yes to absolutely everything. And I think I just burnt myself out badly. And I had a big wake up call and I was like, the power of being intentional in choosing, like time is so precious and I know it's cliched, but I was kind of just saying yes to everything and I just thought, no, this has to stop. And it's been so empowering making that decision. Like, does this align with my values? I mean, I had my values but very loosely and I guess I defined those and that kind of set the foundation and then figuring out like, like you said earlier, is what I'm doing aligned with where I want to go? Is future Tracy going to be proud of what she's doing? So it's a big wake up call to actually be more intentional with my time instead of just saying yes to everything and trying to keep everyone else happy at the same time. So
Can I share a bit on that?
of course, I'd love you to, please.
Because this is something I really live with. So all of our actions should be aligned with our intention or with our values. Because if you... I liken, or I talked to it about this. Like, if you're going for a goal, it's wonderful. Like, it's really good to have goals. I call them intentions because we go on a journey to get them. So, it's good to have that, and we talk about that in the Napoleon Hill Institute. Have a burning desire for something, and that's what and all of your action should be aligned with that, so that you're always moving forward to that. But the biggest thing is to make sure that destination is aligned with your core values. Otherwise, you're going to go on a journey. You're going to feel compromised. And when you get to that destination, you're going to go, I've compromised so much of myself
Absolutely.
and my values. It wasn't worth it, you know.
No.
And the big thing is it's the journey. That's the most valuable thing. And, you know, the destination, that signpost is always being pushed ahead and ahead and ahead because you grow so much. There's some things you can't foresee whenever you start out in the journey. Like some of the things that I embark on get so much bigger than I could ever foresee so I don't want to limit it. So I just set the intention and then go on the journey for it.
Yeah. I was also brought up in a Christian home, and I guess I, you know, had those values. But I think it's only since I met my mentor did I really sit down and like figure out exactly what my values were. And it was such a game changer, so much so that I felt, you know, yes, there's the Christian values, and I didn't feel like I'd lived life in a loss in any way, but I felt like I'd operated for 30-something years and not really sat down and figured out, you know, what are Tracy's values and do they align with that and where am I actually going? Because that just changed everything for me.
It centers you. It makes you make decisions with unwavering confidence because you know yourself. Yeah. You know what your values are. And I grew up, you know, Catholic in Ireland, and there's lots, but I never bought into the fear. I just don't do fear.
No.
And once you get to know yourself, your own values, and you are in your own kind of, you know, I always like you go inside for the answers, outside for the support to make it happen. You don't have to do everything yourself, but just the answers are inside. Don't give that power to anything outside of you because and whenever you know yourself, know your values, it's easier.
And I think so many of us do give that power away. We kind of forget.
People don't understand.
They don't. No.
And that's it. Whenever you're awakened to your own potential, like that's what excites me. Because I remember when I went through my awakening, and I was like, oh, like it's like finding the biggest treasure trove, you know, Aladdin's cave thing. Oh my God.
It actually is, yeah.
It's mind-blowing, and people can't do that until they're ready to first do that, until they get curious about it. And that's why we have to show up in knowing it and showing what the benefits of life are and how it, you know, you're able to, you know, even whenever adversity hits, you know, you're able to still manage and get through because you're at a higher vibration. So you don't hit rock bottom. No, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You just manage things because life happens. No matter where you are on that scale. Yeah.
How did you come to finding your treasure? I actually mentioned it yesterday on the pod. There's a quote I love, you know, it says, "The cave you fear to enter holds a treasure that you seek," by Joseph Campbell. And I know for me, I started discovering my treasure about 4 or 5 years ago. Actually, my business catapulted that very, very quickly. When did it happen for you?
I suppose it was when I started to embrace writing, you know, and like I've shared like everything, experiences in my life. They're all in books.
Yes.
So I don't hold anything back. And as the cliche is there, like I'm an open book for sure, you know, and I make mistakes all the time. But I don't let them be roadblocks, or I don't let adversities be big, huge defining moments in my life. I let them be the learning I need to learn in that, and then don't do it again. Yeah. You know what I mean? And grow through it and reach the next level. So, and also I've started to learn that the basking in, you know, whenever I have successes, to smell the roses of that, to share that with people, because I come from Ireland, it's like, no, you're just showing off, you know? Yeah. And I'm like, no, people need to celebrate their wins so that other people understand and learn from it as well. So if I achieve something, I'm like, here's how I achieved it. If it resonates or if it calls you, start taking steps towards it, you know?
You mentioned earlier that you don't do fear. Do you want to talk a bit more to that, please?
I know it's a bit.
I feel like it needs to be on a T-shirt. I love it.
I remember Katie Garner from Osmompreneur and Women Change the World saying to me, "Karen, you are fearless," because I was making a lot of big decisions at the time and navigating a few things, and I had no fear in it whatsoever. But it's because I'm so connected with my inner knowing. So knowing is one of my life principle, my master gifts that I talk about.
Yes.
And that those master gifts are my gift to the world. They're like a life's work. And I wrote a book on each one of them. It took me a year for each one. So I lived a year in mindfulness.
Yes, I lived a year
in each one of them. So the year of knowing, and I've always had a knowing within me, and every one of us is born with the ability to know. And so many people lose it.
Yeah, or switch it off.
Switch it off or lose it. And that's the thing. Whenever you are connected with your knowing and that navigation system within you, can make decisions in a split second with unwavering confidence that they are the next step on your journey. You know, even look, Elsa, the whole thing is like, what's the next step?
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
just because it always gets revealed to you. Don't think too far ahead. You're going to be overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Don't look behind you. You're going to be depressed. So stay in the present and focus on where am I being navigated to next? Know what it is that you want and get really clear on that, because then you will get clear on the opportunities, the people, or the inspired thoughts that are coming to you that are going to make that step clear. It's like it takes away the fog and the journey. And I am so trusting on my own navigate. Like even whenever, you know, things happen, I still know that it's part of the journey.
Yes.
So I'm just kinder to myself in those times. If I go, like, there's a book I read one time that really resonated. It was called The 5 Stages of the Soul.
Okay.
And stage 3 and 4 are the struggle and the breakthrough. And before every breakthrough, and if you're working towards goals, you're going to have breakthroughs, but there's always going to be a struggle period.
Yes, I can relate.
So that is where you've done all the work before it, you come to, and it's unsettling and you feel the ground underneath. You've got a sick feeling in your stomach. And that is where so many people retreat in the struggle, and you're going,
they give up,
no, I see it and I'm going, don't bail here. You're so close. I can see it. But if they don't see it or feel it, you know, there's no point me feeling it for them.
No.
So, but the struggle period is where you recalibrate your energy. It's where you read books and get your brain filled with loads of motivational stuff. It's where you go for beach walks. It's where you go slower in the struggle and let it pass. And then you be guided to the next and you listen. We're human beings, not human doings. So you be in that time. You listen for the next step to take, and you will be shown, and you trust and have faith in the process.
And the breakthrough comes.
When you're ready to take the action, and then the breakthrough comes in, and you need all that energy for when the breakthrough, for when that comes. That's all what you've been getting all the energy for, is that breakthrough, because it's going to be full on, and it's going to be amazing and buzzing and magical. Because you've earned it,
yes,
you know. But
the hard work.
I've been through so many struggles, so I understand the process. So when I get that famous one, I go, oh, it's coming. So I allow myself to I'll just veg.
Yeah.
You know, you just do it.
I needed that reminder because I feel like in my business, probably the last, I want to say, maybe 6 to 9 months, I think I've been going through the hard yards, and I've just been like, this is just so much. So I needed that reminder. Thank you, because again, by just persevering, and I've gone through this before, so I don't know why I have a bit of a meltdown, but like just by persevering, pushing through, being consistent, eventually that breakthrough does come. My mentor reminds me all the time, you just have to keep going, because it's when you want to tap out, and there's been a few times I'm like, I'm done, I'm going to go get a job.
Oh, that's part of entrepreneurship. That's all part of the process. And it's an important part of the process because, and once you don't take action in those times, because we all get there, no matter whether you're an entrepreneur or just, you know, whatever, you always get to that point where you're going, right, I'm done.
Yeah.
You know, but just don't take action in that time.
No, it doesn't happen often, but I think probably in the 5, well, Design Studio Perth was 6 in July. I think there's probably been like 3 times. I'm like, right, I'm going to go get a job. I've had enough. I'm done. And then my mentor's like, what are you going to do? And I'm like, I don't know. I'll figure it out. And he's like, I think you made yourself unemployable. So I'm like, damn it.
It is that, isn't it? Now, I started publishing. It was calling. It was so loud, and I was called into it. But it also allowed me to be at home with my kids, and I was doing publishing with babies on my lap, and you know what I mean? So it's amazing.
It just feels to me, Karen, that you're unstoppable. Like nothing will stop you. I mean, 6 children, you know, organizing retreats, you've got your publishing business. It's so inspiring.
And I do take a lot of downtime, like really.
Good.
People like, the one thing that everyone says, I know you're really busy, and I'm like, no. Like, you know, and I always have a forever to-do list. You know, I will always have a forever to-do list. But, and that's, it's really important, but sometimes you just have to close up the diary and just go and re-energize, and then come back with refocus and just tick those things off the list. And one of the things that is hard as a publisher, because we've got deadlines and stuff, but if someone's book is on a journey and you know you have to honor the journey, otherwise it's not going to reach the you know, the potential for the author and their journey and their growth. that's where I'm like the bad guy, because it's like, well, we're not at that stage yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And honoring the process. So I think that's what makes me different than other publishers, is that we honor the journey, honor the process that the book is on and that the author's on.
Yeah.
And because I'm an author as well as a publisher.
Yeah. So you sit both sides. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did want to ask you, so you spent 7 years living in your 7 master gifts, 1 full year dedicated to each, a full year of mindfulness, a full year of forgiveness. What did that actually look like in practice?
The forgiveness year nearly killed me.
Wait, I wanted to ask. I'm like, wow.
I didn't expect it.
So interesting. Like,
so the mindful, it wasn't intentional. I didn't intentionally set out to have a year in each. It was just that's what happened. And in hindsight, I look back and I was like, wow, I done a year in each. So the year of intention, that was my $1 million year.
wow.
Yeah, it was such a powerful energy to be in. And that book is called The Miracle of Intent.
Okay.
And it's an Audible, and it's just in its own book, but it's also in the Master Gifts book. So after all of the 7 years were done, I brought all of the 7 books together in Master Gifts, or The Alchemy of Life Magic. They're both the same book, just for different audiences.
Okay.
You know, so the mindfulness book I wrote in 3 weeks whilst on holidays with my kids.
In 3 weeks?
It just called. And then the other books I've got, like, for example, the second book is The Power of Knowing, and it's very powerful. And I've got guests who come into that. Elizabeth Gilbert's in that book.
Wow.
So I've got like 5 guests in each book, all sharing that gift in motion, so in their lives. So, and it's beautiful. So yeah, I done a year of knowing, I done a year of intention, did a year of gratitude, which was wonderful as well. Did a year of love. Like, love is at the middle, because love is at the center of everything. Did the year of forgiveness. Now, wow. That I was like, I didn't have any expectations. I don't do expectations, but I think it was just where I was. Maybe my marriage wasn't going well,
Sure.
and I had a lot of forgiveness. I think there's a lot of my relationship stories in there, whatever I was going through at the time. But it was also forgiving myself. But there was one thing that was profound that happened when I was writing that book, and that was the chapter called Beyond Forgiveness.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Which is where you go past the forgiving part and you move into like this transcendent kind of state where there's harmony, where you're just like above the rawness of things. You move into this, and because, you know, whenever we're emotionally connected to something, we're reactive and all of those things, and it's hard. You know, we can be resentful. We're human beings, you know, and as human nature, we always make things way more complicated than they need to be. But when we understand that forgiveness is not for the other person or for the scenario or for anything, it's for us to let go of the shackles that tie us to things energetically. And it also frees everything. So it's in our best interest to let go of things and move on and understand that everything that's part of our story and their story, it had to happen for us to advance. And so everybody's just playing out their story of life.
So true, yeah.
You know, so even the villains in our story have a reason to be there, and it's important. So just seeing the value in all of that and all of the lessons, and then you kind of move into this place where it's just like heaven. You just go, okay, I can do this.
So things don't really like get you as such. You kind of feel that you've released, you know, you've forgiven someone, so you kind of feel like it's...
Forgiveness is a work in progress at all times for everyone, I think, because there's always going to be things that trigger us, you know, because things are important to us, you know, and so then we're emotionally connected to it. So it's easier to manage whenever you understand why things happen.
Yeah.
You know?
And how does one truly get there? So if you've you know, forgiven someone, how do you kind of get past that? Because I think that's something all of us would love to master, me included.
You can read the book.
Freedom
and Forgiveness.
All the links in the show note below, and I need to get them.
Well, it was that chapter in itself was like an epiphany for me.
Yeah.
Because it was just like, oh, now I get it. Now I get why forgiveness is so important.
So while
in
you
our
were
lives.
writing?
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
It was the year of forgiveness, because I was struggling with it, and I was like, oh my God, you know, I always thought I was a forgiving person, and then I realized I forgive, but I don't forget. And then
That's what me.
and then I was like, it's okay to not forget, because that's all
Yeah.
part of my journey. You know, you don't need to go and put it in a little box. I also understand, because I did work in mental health for a while, that whenever we go through trauma in life, and everyone will go through their own traumas in life, and things will affect us at different times differently, whether our cup's full or empty. So things will affect us at different times. And so whenever we have traumas, the trauma's tucked away and we're going to survival mode until we get to a place where it's going to rear its head. And it's probably going to come when you're happy in life and everything is going to come to the surface, but it's not coming to drag you back down. It's coming because it's ready for you to release it. And when you do release it from your body, you actually become biologically healthier. So it's a scientific fact that your body and your energy and your atoms and all of the things actually heal, and you release it. And that's why writing is such a powerful vehicle in that process. And I always say, if you are healing from something, journal.
Yes.
Don't write for other people to read it. Just journal and vent and let it all out. But when you're writing for others, write from a healed perspective, in hindsight, with what you've learned. And then that is really helpful for someone who's going through the healing journey.
I journal, I try most mornings, if not in the evening, just to kind of, I guess, be grateful for things that have happened. I find it sets me up for the day. It's really powerful. And sometimes it's best to just kind of get whatever's going on up here out on paper and just release it. Like it
makes it
between
tangible.
Journaling and running, like it's so much healing.
Yes. I have started running because of you.
Oh, okay, I'm so glad.
And I've had my treadmill there for a long time. I'm like, I am going to do this. So I've got a Spotify playlist. I put it on, and it's the same as going to the gym. The thought of it, you're going like, oh, but as soon as you do it, you feel so good. I'm a better person, better mom, better everything because of it.
Me too. And it's those days where I really don't want to do it that I need it most.
Yes.
I'm just like, right, Tracy, you just put your shoes on, get your music, get going. And then even if it's just a 5K, I get back and I'm just like, I feel so much better. But I'm so glad to have inspired you.
Yes, absolutely, definitely. And that's the thing. And you're saying 5K. I'm like, if I go 1K and someone who's starting out, 1K is okay at the beginning.
Yeah. Well, I know you've set an incredible goal if you're happy to share.
Yes, absolutely. I've put it out there because if you put out a goal, it means that I have to stick to it. So I just turned 49. And so by the time I'm 50, I want to run. I'm giving myself half marathon, but I would love to do a marathon.
Yeah.
So just after my 50th is the Dublin Marathon.
Oh, that would be incredible. Yes.
And I remember in my childhood, my dad doing the Dublin Marathon and training for it and all of the things. So I'm putting it out there. We'll go on the journey. And obviously I'm in New York every year whenever the New York Marathon's on.
Yes. Well, if you need a running buddy, I'm all for it. If you need a buddy for your marathon.
Whenever I'm able to be seen in public running, I will reach out instead of gasping for air. I'm like training my lung capacity at the moment, and then
it does take a little
I'll
bit
do
of
the
time.
park runs in Rockingham on a Saturday.
Oh, good.
Because it's just along the beach and it's so
beautiful,
gorgeous. And then I'll be like, Tracy, do you fancy? I'll come to the city and we'll run South Perth or something.
I'd love to. Gosh, we can meet this weekend. Like it's for me as well. It's just getting out there because, like I said, I couldn't run to my post box.
Yes.
And just running half a K, 1K, and oh my gosh, when you start, I think I mentioned before, like you feel like your lungs are going to explode. You think, why am I doing this? But then it's just every single day, it just gets that bit easier. And I've met some incredible people through running. So yes, if you need a buddy, let me know. I'll bring some crew and we'll do it. Because I think just the marathon's a really good goal to work towards. And if I can do that in the space of a year, I absolutely believe that, you know, you can as well. And it's just, it gives you this, it's something you've done and no one can ever take it away from you. Not that that matters, but it's just, it gives you such a confidence, that grit, you know. The idea of running 42K is 3 years ago, I've been like, oh my word, you're nuts. But, you know, doing it, it's just been such a great journey. And also part of that is actually on that day, seeing how everyone kind of pulls together, especially at that 35K mark. It's like everyone just, you know, just bonds, whether they know you or not. And it's just, it's been such a great experience.
And isn't it mind over matter? Like it's,
oh my gosh.
A lot of it is not your body, it's your mind.
Absolutely. I did the Busselton half with my good friend and coach Karen, and I thought I had this goal and I thought, probably not going to make it. But like Karen's believing I am. So look, I'll fake it till I make it, was running. And it must have looked like we were in an abusive relationship because when I started, I just want to go and she was like tapping my leg. And then we got to that 16K mark. So we paced just under 5 minutes per K. And I was like, I think I'm done. I'm like, it really doesn't matter. Like, it's all good. Like next time. And she's like, Tracy, keep going. And what she did was really incredible. She said, I want you to think about, I hope I get emotional thinking about this. Every K, I want you to think about someone who's helped you in your life and honor that person per the K. Oh my gosh,
so good.
I was choking on my snot by the time I got to the finish line, but that last K was an experience that I've never experienced that before. And, I reached my goal, which was incredible. And I could not have done it without her.
I can just cry in that.
I know. I just get so emotional thinking about it because I think it's when we doubt ourselves so much and just having someone to Trace, you've got it. And I remember the last case, she's like, who are you? And I'm like, I'm Tracy fucking Fryer. And I'm like crying and choking on snot. And I'm like, just try watch where you're going, don't fall over. And it was just such an incredible.
And then they have a camera in your face at the finish line.
Right at the end. And I'm like shaming all our friends who had gone as well, were cheering us on. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm such a wreck. But it was such a beautiful experience. And having someone with me just pushing me who like believed in me more than I did at the time and got there. And I was
That's one of the biggest things though, isn't it? Because somebody's belief in you, you can borrow that until you have it in yourself.
It was incredible because I was like, 16Ks, I'm done. Like, let's just like take it off. I'll put my tunes on or whatever. And she's like, let's go. And it was just such a great experience.
But there is a threshold, isn't it? And once you go past that, the hardest part.
Threshold. Yeah, but then it's almost like your body's saying no, but your mind is like, absolutely, we're doing this. And then having someone kind of guide you through that. And I guess it's like anything in life, whether you're running or business or writing a book, just having to remind me. And then I felt like that every K honoring that person was just a really nice way to kind of take my mind off the last 5 that I had to still do. Yeah. But then also a nice way to honor those people in my life who have helped me, along this journey.
Whenever you're a giving person, that's the motivation of that will always get you over the line, isn't it?
Yeah, but it was really like crossing that threshold and pushing. And then it's just had this great impact on me, my running and everything else, because now it's like you almost push to the next threshold as well. So it was such a beautiful experience.
That's such a spiritual experience, really.
It is,
and personal growth. Wow.
Absolutely. So yes, let me know when you
want to
go
run. I'm taking it all in my little toolkit. I am at the 5Ks now, so I'm like, okay.
Great, fantastic.
Yeah, that's cool. So we'll see.
And just half a K, 1K add on every single week, and before you know
I add another song to my playlist. And like, if you heard my playlist,
oh really?
It's all like vibe and stuff. It's like, and my kids are like, what is that?
It's like Raven House. Oh my gosh, you have to listen. So Rudy, one of our very talented designers, he's actually been writing songs. And he's like stepped into this whole nother creative side of himself, and he does the most awesome, I want to say it's a bit of rave, a bit of like techno EDM. And I'm just like, Rudy, I like blast your songs when I'm getting dressed, going for a run. It's just so. It's
one of my secret things. If I go places, I have to go clubbing. It's my thing. And people
so
are like,
much fun.
And I'm like, honestly, the vibe. And I can run faster and go faster if I have that type of music.
Same.
It gets you pumping. It's like, this isn't fast enough. Pump it up.
It almost moves your soul. So I just absolutely love it.
Beautiful. I love it.
Karen,
everyone's learning a lot from us.
I know, it's so good.
Yes.
You've built a publishing empire from the ground up. What's the hardest part of building something that nobody has built before?
Wow. So I created three publishing companies because to serve. So it started off with a company called Inner Light Publishing, and that's where we started off, and then it transformed into Serenity Press. And Serenity Press at the moment is paused because, obviously we had the Duchess in there, and it was all, and had other authors, so it paused at the moment to see what kind of, and that's the thing in life, everything ebbs and flows. KMD is doing so well. It's our thought leadership press. It's where we're doing memoirs. I'm working with, I've found this genius of working with people to share their story. So I've kind of become a biographer, and I love it. And to think that, that schoolgirl is now helping people extract their stories and writing it, and
Incredible.
And it is like I've got goosebumps thinking of the stories that are coming to me to be written, and the honor it is to join someone on that journey and creating that safe space, and for them to trust me to do it. Like, it's such an honor.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we're at. And anthologies is another, like I'm in 49 anthologies. Can you believe, Tracy? Not just mine, other people's.
Yeah.
And I've helped so many of those, and most of them get published. And like, an anthology is a collection of stories from 15 people up to 35. There's one of our anthologies has 44 people. And can you imagine the amount of stories that are getting out there? And it's just
and
so
inspiring other people.
It is, yeah. And then it's also this little footprint for that person to share their story, and it's forever
and for
there.
their family. And like you said, legacy work.
It is legacy work, and I never take it for granted. So it's beautiful. And so just building it up and creating and doing it my way. Then Heroes Roar comes along. And then that kind of has an energy all of its own.
Yes.
We were starting with one book. I had a book cover that I seen online that I bought, and I was like, I love that book cover. I'll keep that for an author, a special author. And then it called me from my inbox. I had it in my inbox for about 2 years. And I was like, it called me from my inbox, and I went Googled to see, or done a search to see if I could find it. And I brought it to out, and then within a week there was 8 books.
Wow.
They were all different. There was the lion, there was a lioness, there was the tiger, the Siberian tiger. They were all different cats, and all under different themes. And so we've been doing that. We launched the first one, the lion, in the castle in Ireland in 2023. And then we started doing stages for authors in it to share their story in stages. And then we filmed for Docufilms all over the world, in Ireland and Melbourne and in New York. And then last November at the Mums Rising. So we'll talk about Mums Rising. It's a movie that I'm in, directed by Scott Servain. And the premiere of that was in the Robin Williams Theatre in New York last November. The day after we had our Heroes Roar stage. So it was that night. And then the trailer of the Heroes Roar docufilm was on the big screen in the Robin Williams. And I made sure that everybody that was attending was in the trailer. So it was a whole thing to navigate.
Cool.
Everybody that was in Heroes Roar that was attending the movie premiere was in the, and it was just such a proud moment. I was there.
Yeah, wow. Yeah.
So we're going back in November, and we're going to show the first 1 or 2 docufilms in the Robin Williams Theatre. And it's such a beautiful venue. But also, like, I loved Robin Williams, you know, and he's such an advocate for mental health and all of that kind of stuff. So to be able to do that, and so that's a part of KMD. So so we publish those through KMD, and I have a business partner in KMD who, you know, so we own it together, and so we get all of those, you know, everything out there with that. So, and then we've got MMH Press, which is where a lot of my books are, because they're spiritual, there's fiction, but we do a lot of poetry in there, and we've found some amazing poets.
Oh, I love poetry.
In there.
Yeah.
And so it's really, so we ebb and flow with it. As I said earlier, I went through those few years when my daughter was very sick, where everything felt like it was falling apart.
Yeah.
And I had to pour into her, and then now we're building again, which is beautiful. But it's all to do with story and heart and a lot of love.
Yes.
Know?
And where is the best place for our listeners to go for the was it the motherhood film?
Mums Rising is mumsrising.film. Just go there and you can watch it for free.
Awesome.
And I'm in that. I talk about forgiveness.
Oh, right, yeah.
Out of all of there was hours of filming, and that's what the director picked up on. I think it was my year of forgiveness that was filmed.
Ironic.
Of course. So everything happens for a reason.
Yeah,
so, but it was and we've got Marianne Williamson in that film.
Wow.
Do you know Marianne Williamson?
Yeah.
Yes, I love her.
And for our listeners?
Yeah, she is a return to love. She was also Oprah Winfrey's spiritual guru for many, many years. And A Return to Love sold 2.5 million copies.
Wow.
And she was just recently on tour around Australia. I went to see her in Sydney, and I was chatting to her because we're in the film together and all of the stuff. And
Incredible.
I was like, so I'm doing her A Return to Love course. It just keeps you connected. And the perspective, the enlightened perspective that she shares with you shows you that there's only two powers, love and fear. So you choose, you know, positive or negative. You choose every single day what you are investing in your life.
Yeah.
And so if you go to love, then you see everything bigger and wider, and everything heals and grows and everything through that. So it's amazing.
You make it so simple. I think as humans, we make it complicated. We forget, like you say, love and fear, like which side are you on?
Yeah.
But I think, and I mean, I do this, I get lost in that in between and make it so complicated that you sometimes forget it's just a simple choice of this way or that way.
Yeah.
So,
well, the thing that, because Marianne Williamson done A Course in Miracles. Did you ever hear of The Course in Miracles?
No.
The Course in Miracles is a very thick book. And I've sort of been studying it recently, and I love studying books. You know, for my, to get a doctorate in philosophy, I had to check, you know, I've done Think and Grow Rich, I've done, you know, the 5 Stages of the Soul. I've done all of, you know, loads and loads of books. I've done Return to Love.
Yeah.
I think whenever that book finds you at the right time, it just, you know, she shares her perspective on the principles in A Course in Miracles in A Return to Love. That's what the book is about. But A Course in Miracles, she always says, as humans and as human beings, our experience is complicated, and it's intricate, and there's always, you know, lots of things happening. But in A Course in Miracles shares that everything is simple. It's either love or fear.
Yeah.
So you're choosing every time what you're energizing in your life and what you're illuminating in your life, because neither goes away. They're always there.
Yeah.
But what are you pouring energy into? That's your choice every day.
Yeah.
The other's still there. You can deal with it. You can, you know, tick the box in it, but don't emotionalize it. Don't put that energy and that
Get
emotion.
sucked in by it.
Put that into the love, where the joy is in your life, where the love is. And one of the most profound things that has blown my mind recently is that, you know, in that Dr. David Hawkins, you know, that spectrum of, you know, all of those transcendence, all of those types of energies. I always hang out in joy and love. Intentionally, I put so much energy into hanging out in joy and love, even whenever my kids don't let me sleep at night. I still try to be in joy and love. Sometimes I wake up like Mary Poppins and go to bed like Miss Hannigan. Honestly, you know, I am human, but I try to hang out in joy and love as much as possible. But what I didn't realize is that peace is a higher energetic frequency than joy and love.
Right.
Peace is peace of mind.
Yeah.
And we should be striving for that more than happiness. You know, happiness and love are part of peace. And peace of mind is where all of the answers and the solutions come
from.
And shame and guilt are the lowest vibrations. So if you are being hard on yourself, like what conversation are you having in your mind with yourself? And if you're making yourself, you know, there's no answers there. Those are the lowest vibrations. There's no solutions there. There's only feeling low and down, depressed. But how do you get out of that? Joy and love. Go and do something that lights you up. It's the only answer.
Yeah.
And then the solution will come through. Logically, it's illogical to the outside world. Say, no, you have to do that to serve yourself and serve others so that the answers come to you and the solutions find you. It's the only place that they're going to happen. So I have done that intentionally, especially since I come out of PTSD, because when I fell to rock bottom, and I understood what was happening to me because I'd worked in mental health, so I understood. But I wasn't pouring into myself. I wasn't keeping myself in those higher frequencies, even though I loved my kids and I had a lot of love in my life. I didn't have self-love. So that's what we're talking about, is that love includes you, very much you, because if you're not taking care of yourself and pouring into yourself, you're not going to see outside of yourself the results.
No, and I think you can only go for so long not loving yourself, and it catches up with you eventually.
That's what happened.
Yeah, and then I think you meet someone who helps bring you back to being actually kinder to yourself, and then it's like it kind of balances things out.
Or something
again.
happens.
Or something happens, yeah.
And then
Absolutely.
You're going, okay. And I come out of that time. Whenever I woke up out of that situation, like awakened to life, I called it my cocoon period.
Okay.
Because I was like, wow, and all these wisdoms would come to me and all of these thoughts that were just so different and so much hope, and I could feel again, because whenever you have PTSD, you're very numb to life. So how are you supposed to manifest things? Like, you know, it's interesting process.
Would you be comfortable to share what led you there? If not, that's fine. If you're comfortable to share what took you
for
there?
sure.
Yeah.
So there was an incident in my home between my brother and my partner. And it was, you know, we're Irish, there's fights, you know.
Happens all the time.
You go out for a few drinks or have some drinks and it's just, but it was because I was cup empty. That when that happened, I remember actually having an out-of-body experience where I energetically left myself and went beside my body. Like I remember, and I had a 5-month-old at the time, so I was I was breastfeeding, I was giving so much. I wasn't doing the work I loved. I had stopped that to, so I was just giving, and nothing was coming in. Everything was going out. So I was totally rock bottom. Whenever that happened, I just fell. That was it. I remember having like tunnel vision. I couldn't see wider.
Yeah, your whole body
it was just but the reason why I didn't fear it, again, I didn't have fear, and I understand why so many people want to hide from it or don't want to face it. Like I faced it, and I was like, right, we'll take each day as it comes. I'll do what needs to happen. And I was like, my family, Emma talks about, we just watched you and you were just a shell of yourself. Because I was always an extroverted, happy, and I was just like this, my eyes were like vacant. I was just like this shell of myself. But I was inside, doing the work. I remember just like having darkness in my brain and just walking the road and just seeing tunnels like actually in front of me.
Wow.
Someone tried to talk to me about it and I would just start shaking, so it's just a nervous response to it. So I just done what I needed to do and trusted my instinct, and I never got medicated or anything for it. I just went through the process. And then I had a double miscarriage just over a year later. And it took 2 weeks for it to happen. It was such, but it broke my heart because I had this light at the end of the tunnel. I was like, a gift. It wasn't planned. It was like, this gift, And I remember going and taking the test, and we were pretty far on. We were like 11, 12 weeks. And then I was like, wow. And then I lost one, and then I lay and I prayed for the other. And I remember lying for what seemed like such a long time. And then I remember just pop and it gone. And then I was like, that was it. The floodgates opened. And I cried for those babies. But I also cried for the year I'd lost before that because, but I was feeling again, Tracy.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize it at the time that I had stopped, that I kind of unleashed something within me. And in that moment, I had a choice to be defined and, in that despair of that for the rest of my life. Or I could learn and start to feel and take this. But I started to have, I can do this. And I started to dream again. It was just beautiful. Yeah. And I was like, right, this is a gift. And then I got pregnant straight away. Don't know how. Don't remember doing the deed. I think it must have been an immaculate conception. But I remember lying at night just praying, please let me be full again. And anyone who loses understands that you just feel so empty.
Yeah, I've heard. Yes. Yeah.
And because I seen it on the screen as well, and it was just, you felt such a connection.
Yeah, of course.
So it was so harrowing. And nurses and midwives, well-intentioned, would say, no, it's just, this happens all the time. Just get on with life. And I was like, no, I need to understand why, because I've got 2 boys. They're both healthy. Why did this happen to me?
Yeah, that closure.
But it brought me and my mother close together because she had a miscarriage because before she had me.
Yes.
And I would be here if that hadn't have happened.
Of course, yeah.
And then it was the same with Kira. If I hadn't have had this loss, I wouldn't have had her. So it's just everything for a reason, trusting that these came as a gift to wake me back up to life again. And when I did, everything started to flow. We got our visas to come to Australia. I got pregnant straight away again. We got married. We finished the house. We moved to Australia all in 1 year.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Wow. And so losing those 2 babies kind of awakened you.
Woke me,
Yeah, wow.
And it was when... It was 2.5 years later when I had just had my 4th child. I was in that love energy again. And I was I was with my 4th child. She was 4 weeks old. And ABC Kids was always on in our house. It was never daytime TV. But this one day, The View was on. And Whoopi Goldberg was interviewing a couple, celebrity reality TV couple, who come on and they had endured a miscarriage whenever they were filming. And it was brought up, and the woman it just triggered her, and she was crying. And Whoopi turned her back to the camera, and I remember her saying to this woman, I am going to tell you something that I tell all of my friends that this happens to. That was a visitor that came to visit you, and tell you that if you get on the right path, your gift will come. And I was like,
Oh, wow.
lightning bolt
My
moment hit me.
goodness. Yes.
And that moment changed my life. And I was
Oh,
like,
I'm like goosebumping again. Yeah.
that was the answer my
Wow.
heart longed for,
Of
you know?
course, yes.
Because I, in hindsight, I look back and I was like, I made that choice, got onto the right path, and everything went well. Because before that, we had car trouble, money trouble, nothing went right. We were living in darkness.
Yeah, see.
Then whenever this happened, I shifted trajectory. I had light in my life. I was like, I don't care what anybody thinks. I'm going to go for life and do good things and help people and all of the stuff and see where it brings me. You know?
Yeah, and look at the incredible things you've done and are doing.
But everything is intentional, but also not, because I allow it, and I allow it to just allow myself to be guided as to what, you know, what's the best thing to do. And then if I can make decisions and have peace in that decision, then I'm going, well, that was a decision I made. I know why I made it. So anything that happens from that will then, you know, I was always working with love in mind. So, yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing. It sounds from what you said like writing is such a healing tool. And I have a few clients that I've been trying to encourage to write a book, and they're, Tracy, shut up, I'm not doing it, it's crazy. But they're just so brilliant. And I'm like, you have to write a book. Besides working with yourself, what would your advice be to them? Like, I know we've all got a story, but you know, what would be that first step they can take to actually put that into action? And it doesn't have to be perfect. Because you can always write another one.
It's not perfect. You don't want it to be perfect. Your first draft is a messy first draft. You're just exploring. But there's two things that I would say to people who are listening is decide first, are you writing a memoir or are you writing a signature book? If you've got a business, and this is a biz podcast.
Yeah.
So if you've got a business, I suggest that you write a signature book. That means you don't have to hang out your dirty laundry.
Okay.
It means you can take what you've learned on your journey as a business owner, and you know, really the work happens in the contents page.
Right.
Knowing the essence of your book, give your book a title, even if it's a working title at the beginning. Kind of spend that day just thinking what contents, like what are the chapters. They don't need to be in flow. Structure can happen later, but just brain dump all of those potential chapters that you needed 5 years earlier, 10 years earlier.
Yes,
So you are your own reader, because people will learn from you. What did you need to know? And don't compare yourself to other books, because nobody can write the book that you will write. You're the only person that can share your stories and your experiences. So it's going to be a unique book anyway. And if it's a book that's out there, well, it's showing you that that theme is popular and important, and people will want to read on that. You know what I mean? So it's important. So there's 3 things that I always say that each chapter should have, and that's share your knowledge with that in that theme, so that people can learn from you. Share a personal scenario in your own business or in your life connected to that, and then share a takeaway, so that at the end of the chapter, so that the reader doesn't live vicariously through you. They take it on board. You activate something within them to take action in their own life if it resonates. Because remember, someone will read your book or read an anthology or read something, and not everything will resonate. But whatever resonates, you invite them to take action on it. If this calls you, I invite you to take action on it in your life. Some people won't take action until they're invited to do it. It's crazy.
That's true. Like a call to action. Yeah, pretty
Absolutely.
much.
And as for anthologies, people who have audiences or who coach people, or even podcasts as well, to create an anthology of stories that people can just sit together and it shares. Like it's just amazing what happens whenever they weave their way out into the world. And this, you know, the letters you get back or the feedback you get back.
I've got a few from the podcast.
Yes.
I'm so touched. I'm like, I always thought it'd be a great success, like if my mom and my granny listened. But I get these like messages, and like 2 people have left their jobs because of the show. I'm like, hope you had your nest egg saved up. And just like, you know, I listened to so-and-so's episode. That was just what I needed. And I'm like, that just fills my soul so much, because it's, you know, it's serving other people and helping others take those brave steps that they might need to, or, you know, quitting the job that they've hated for 10 years or leaving that relationship that hasn't served them for so long. So it just really, like you said, it's this beautiful onflow of helping people live their best life.
You're that catalyst in that moment that just help them to take the action in their life.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful thing to be able to be that for
Absolutely.
others.
Yeah. Karen, I'd love to know, what would 85-year-old Karen be furious at you for not doing?
Oh, nothing. She's had a ball.
Good.
Honestly, no, and I'm really intentional on this. There's no regrets.
Good.
Everything's part of the journey. I have still so much to do. I'm going to live till I'm 109.
Awesome.
That's my intention, and probably more when I'm hoping I get some youth drops or something. However, I will do it gracefully. Keep my cheeks chubby, because that's what keeps the wrinkles away. But you know, I love life. It loves me back. That's one of my mottos. If you love life, it will love you back. So I continue to do that. Just loving my kids as well and joining them on their journey. I'm join them and help them as much as I can, and they're there for me. Do you know what I mean? So
Yes.
I was funny because I listened to something the other day where they were talking about this woman who's 90 something who goes to the nursing homes to visit her children. And I was like, that'll be me.
It's the other way around. Oh my goodness.
It was
She must be a
really, I was
yogi.
like, that resonated, and I was like, okay, I can do that.
Yeah.
But and the reason and how I can get there is by taking care of myself, and it's not selfish. It's imperative that we do that.
Yeah.
Because if I want to be the best mom, I can't just be drained. It's very important too, and I have done that. You know, I've just given so much of myself, maybe to authors or just to my kids or to my relationship or just too much headspace into things. Whereas if we simplify things down, we're able to give the best of ourselves to each situation and still have some left for ourselves. So because it's important for me to help others, like that's part of one of my values. I just love it. And I love being a mother. And so I want to do it all. And so if I want to do it all, then I have to take care of myself I'll facilitate that. So.
And Karen, are you happy?
I'm very happy, yes. I'm very happy. And I love it because I've just moved house and my boys are now, they live on their own place, and it's just me and my girls.
Yeah, nice.
And I'm just in this beautiful place. Even though Mary's a tornado, I love her very much. She keeps things alive, the energy heightened at times. But I have a beautiful space with my desk and everything. And I'm just like, God, I just love this life. How blessed am I?
Yes. I was recently in Bali, and I find there's something so spiritual about Bali. It always just kind of resets me. And I got back and I was like, wow, how good is life? Like, I think obviously seeing the conditions people live in, number one, awakens you. But I got back, I'm like, I literally get up and do what I love every single day. You know, have a roof over my head, have running water out of tap, because obviously in Bali, you have to, you know, have bottled water and stuff. And I just was like, wow, like I'm so lucky. And
We're so
unfortunately,
lucky
I take
here.
it for granted sometimes. So,
And it's good to be reminded that in our mastermind that we have every Wednesday morning, we actually talked about where on earth, you know, activates you in different places.
Yeah, there's
where it
something about
feels like
Bali.
home. And you're going, I don't understand why. But
Yes.
something, this nourishes me here. This helps me.
yes.
Yeah.
I found the same in Ireland. I'm part Irish. Well, I'm part a few things, but but yeah, I found the same in Ireland. It felt like I'd been there before. It was most bizarre.
Yeah.
And it's just like an energy reset. It was, very, very interesting.
When I go home to
So-
Ireland, it's like my whole body exhales. It's
Yes,
just like,
well, that's how it kind of felt. Yeah, it was.
it's beautiful. I'm home. I love it. But I also love Australia because Australia brought the creative out in me. It helped me find myself. It nourished me. It's just been like I fell in love with Rockingham Beach.
Yeah,
and I
that's
just knew that was
beautiful.
it.
Yes.
That this is me. I'm home. You know what I mean? So
I
my
do.
heart's in two lands. What do? I'm blessed that I get to go back to Ireland every year and experience that and be there. And as the kids are out, you know, older and out of school, I'll be able to go for longer, you know?
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Karen, if every business owner listening took just one thing from this conversation and applied it tomorrow, what would you want it to be?
Just to really connect inside of yourself and understand what motivates you. Are you doing something that brings you joy? If not, ask yourself why, because
Definitely.
otherwise you're a slave to things.
Yes.
I feel, and you know, if if you're doing things that light you up, you're going to have the motivation and the longevity there to keep going. And things change, and it's okay if things change. And understand that it's okay to fail once you learn from it and grow from it and move forward in it, with love and the best intentions. I always think that that's the best way to go.
And living a beautiful life.
Yeah, and don't just be all work. You got to have play too.
Yes, tried that a few times.
Well, I think that's what running is to you, isn't it?
Yes, so I mean, I'm very driven. I love what I do. It doesn't feel like work,
Yeah,
but I do.
same
Those
here.
boundaries sometimes get very blurred.
Yeah.
But I find with the running, it's a step away. And my fitness, I can decompress. It clears my mind. I have a beautiful community of friends through it as well. So it really does help in that regard.
Beautiful.
And I live close to the ocean, which I'm so lucky. So
so
if
good.
I'm by the ocean, I'm happy.
The ocean for me, and it does something. Water does something for creativity.
Yes, it definitely does. I mean, I'm from Joburg, so we're miles away from the ocean, but it was always my favorite going to Wongo, Margate, going to the beach. And now I'm blessed to live like 5 minutes from the beach. And if I can see the ocean every day, I'm very happy.
Oh, it's so good, honestly. Even just driving past it, if you can't get out and walk.
Yeah, absolutely.
So good.
Karen, for the listeners who are ready to share their story, how can they work with you and where can they find you?
Absolutely. Go to kpwofficial.com. Yes, that's my website. And there's lots of things in there. There's lots of videos that you can learn from.
Right.
It's just on that landing page. There's lots of opportunities, but just have a conversation. I'm happy to have a conversation with anybody and just set you on the right track. Like I've just had conversations with people, they get the baton and they run with it. And then a year later, they're like, this is what I did with our conversation.
Good,
I'm like, wonderful. Like, that's the thing. Not always do I have to do things for people. It's just planting that seed, lifting inhibitions, because we have so many inhibitions, especially with storytelling and books. But it's just, and I have a gift of lifting inhibitions because I don't have any. I was there. I had mine lifted. And then once you understand the process, as human beings, we make it complicated. It's not complicated.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So just contact me on LinkedIn. I'm Dr. Karen Weaver on LinkedIn. And then I'm Karen Weaver on Facebook.
Awesome. We'll pop all the links in the show notes below and to your books and your films as well. Karen, please finish this sentence for every business owner listening. The thing I want you to remember is?
The thing I want you to remember is that you are enough, just as you are. Just enjoy life. It's for living. And one of the things that we do, and there's a quote that life is to be an exciting adventure.
Yes, love that.
Get curious.
Yeah. Karen, thank you so much for today. You are a formidable force of nature, and thank you so much for making time for me today, having a chat. And I feel like we could talk for hours. But just seeing that you have there's nothing that can stop you. You don't make, any excuses. You've had tough life experiences, but you do turn them into a positive, which I think is really powerful, because a lot of us, and I've been there, get stuck in the negative and why has it happened to me? And we have this victim mindset, but I feel like you just flip it on its head and make it a positive regardless of what happens. So thank you so much for today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me, Tracy. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Skin and bone, but I feel it now.